Let's fast forward to Group A. Eintracht Frankfurt is taking on Barcelona Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Let's start with this Barcelona team. First off, shout out to you, man. To quote the great Grand Angle, into the channel, episode 1, if it ends up being a 5-0 game, we shouldn't be too surprised if it breaks that way. End quote.
Okay. All right.
Incredible stuff.
I say enough stuff, some of it's going to be right.
That was pretty impressive, though. 10 minutes into the match, I jotted down in my notes, wow, Benfica 0% scared of Barcelona. 16 minutes into the match, made another note to myself, maybe Benfica should have been like 24 or 25% scared. Benfica came in playing on the front foot. 15 minutes in, Barcelona was like, yeah, enough of this shit. Caroline Graham-Hansen runs the ball into the box from about, 40 yards out, rips a shot, gets a deflection, which allows Putellas to tap in the easiest of headers. And in a match where Alexis Putellas and Aitana Bonmati, who between the two of them have taken home the last 3 Ballon d'Ors, in a match where each of them scored 2 goals, Caroline Graham-Hansen was the best player on the field. CGH, as she'll be referred to henceforth, she gets the full KDB treatment.
Nice.
Was absolutely indefensible, and I mean that in the kindest way possible. She executes a filthy nutmeg at the 18th that had the crowd oohing and eyeing like we were at Rucker Park. She jukes Catarina Amado straight into a yellow card at the 34th. We'll get back to CGH here in a second. 39th minute, Mapi Leon, wonderful ball into the box that finds Dutch international Esme Brooks, who heads it in. Putellas kind of snipes her, though. Gets her foot on a ball that probably had already crossed the line, but gets the credit for the goal anyway.
So I got mad thinking about it. Like, if anybody who spent time playing forward or attacking midfielder in whatever level of football, bad form, man. Don't poach my goal. Like, it's going over the line. There's nobody around. Please don't do that. Esme Brute, like, she clearly took it in stride. It seems like they're all just happy that they're kicking ass. Like you can always tell, too, the majority of the team ran over to Brute anyway. It was like, hey, good job. Like, you don't celebrate the poacher as much.
100%. And I think a little bit of home cooking in there as well, because I think the announcer was like, Alexia, a second after the ball went in. And I'm like, wait, Leah. It's very clear that, like, the women's game, a little bit more of the Wild West in terms of like how things are run. We're still a little bit in its infancy.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll get that organized in the coming years, I'm sure. 43rd minute. CGH, yet again, runs into acres of space on the right-hand side. Things open up. Bonmati finds her right in stride before darting back across the box, back towards Graham-Hansen, who puts a pinpoint pass right on Bonmati, who, cool as you like, 2 taps with her left, tap, before burying it with that golden right boot of hers. A left-right combo that would have had Lennox Lewis very jealous. 3-0 Barcelona. 51st minute, Brooks switches play to the right again, finds CGH near the right corner. Another little dance, and she's gone again. Blows past her defender. She makes something out of nothing. Finds Bonmati, 12 yards out, who blasts another one to make it 4-0. She was just unstoppable. I mean, every time she touched the ball, Benfica was in big trouble. In the 60th minute, with the match just about wrapped, Barca's up 4-0. Barca sends Esme Brooks and Mariana Caldente to the bench, only to bring on Asisat Oshuala and Salma Pariuelo. Ever fucking heard of them? 30 seconds into her stint, Oshuala nets Barca's 5th goal, 30 seconds after coming onto the field on an absolutely absurd overhead kick made possible by a block, an interception, and a peach of a pass into the box by, you guessed it, Caroline Graham-Hansen. Assist number 3, 5-0 Barca. Game, blouses. CGH terrorized Benfica all night long, and she did create that first Alexia goal out of pretty much nothing. So in my personal record book, I'm crediting her with 4 assists. Shout out Stu Gotts. Caroline Graham-Hansen, CGH, my match day 1 MVP.
Had to be, man. And I mean, obviously, you know where my brain goes. By calling her CGH, she gets the full Kevin De Bruyne KDB treatment. That first goal that she creates, where she's just like, oh yeah, I'll just take this 40 yards. And she's up there. Like, as I'm watching, I'm like, oh, that's some KDB type shit right there, where he's just like, oh, everybody's afraid of where I'm going to pass it. I got a lane. I'm just going to fucking explode through it. She's a nightmare to deal with. She has the ability to rip a shot from anywhere outside the 18, but she'll also hit anybody with a pinpoint pass. She knows exactly when to play the 1-2. And it just so happens she's playing the 1-2s with fucking Bonmati and all these other world-class players. I just don't know what you're supposed to do against this team. And then to your last point about, like, if you're Benfica, I think you're right. They were not scared. They put in a good effort. They knew they had to play some defensive football. But later in the game, you're tired. You're getting worn down. And you look up, and here comes Pereyuelo and Oshwala. I mean, what do you do with that as the opponent at that point?
Brutal. I mean, we made the joke last week that I think their second team, would be maybe the third or fourth best team in this competition.
Yeah.
I kind of said it facetiously, and then when at the 60th minute, I was like, "Oh, okay." Maybe that was more accurate than I originally thought it was.
Incredible.
But now Barca faces off against Eintracht Frankfurt, who scored a really solid win away over Rosengard, who had 6 first-teamers injured. As predicted, they looked gassed, despite this one being played at the famed Malmö Idrottsplatz.
Oh, yeah.
Kodwaki for Rosengard, she looked dangerous at the start and in spots throughout. She's a gamer, but too often she found herself running like a one-player fast break, which was a bummer. 25th minute, Anyomi takes Emma Janssen's cookies. Quick pass to Polish national Tanja Pawlak, who sneaks in a softish goal from distance. Felt bad for Emma Janssen there, as her head immediately goes into her hands, and I think they knew what time it was from there. But maybe that was just another sign of a team kind of running on fumes at this point, and then they fall ultimately to Frankfurt 2-1.
A bad moment for Emma Janssen. She got her pocket completely picked by Anyomi. I'll say, though, Anyomi looks really good. Really good energy. Had, like, the presence of mind to run up on Janssen. Mm-hmm. I think you're right that the goal definitely looked softish, and I don't think it's rude to think that the keeper could have saved it, but I thought the announcer kind of touched on it, too. I gotta think that the keeper was screened on that because she reacted so late.
Yep.
You feel bad for Janssen in that point because if you're a midfielder, you want to have a little more awareness than that. But I'll say, too, I really like the center of the field. They're able to exhibit nice control. And I think Pawlak, softish goal aside, I thought she played really well in the match.
Yeah, she had a good match, too. And I think you're right about Mikasa, Rosengard keeper, because after that one, she put together a string of a few really nice saves. But, with a team like Barcelona looming, thoughts and prayers go out to that entire Rosengard squad.
Yes.
Hannah Anderson for Rosengard puts one on the bar in the 78th minute, which would have made the last 15 minutes super interesting. But just 6 minutes later, Frankfurt's Barbara Dunst cashes in on an opportunity created by Laura Freegang to make it 2-0. Rosengard captain Olivia Sku pulls one back in the 94th to cut the lead in half. Well-deserved goal for the Swedish side, but that's how this one ended, 2-1. And now we look ahead to Frankfurt hosting Barcelona Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. I like this Frankfurt team. You mentioned Anyomi's activity level. And general positivity of play.
Yep.
Freegang had a really nice game, including an assist plus a couple great runs. Reuteler seemed really active. She seemed to always be in the mix. Prasnikar, multiple looks at goal, 4 shots, 2 on target. I think one of my favorite stats, though, 23-year-old German center back Sophia Kleinhorn completed 93% of her 86 passes. She was really great as well.
A definite cosign on Frankfurt being a very good squad. Like your point about Kleinhorn, she played really well. The middle of Frankfurt's squad. So you have Kleinhorn and Dorsun anchoring the defense, and then you have Pawlak in the middle patrolling the center of the midfield, and then you have Freigang up front. I think that's all super solid to kind of keep a nice shell, kind of keep organized play through the middle of the pitch. I expect them to maybe try that some against Barcelona, but I gotta tell you, that's gonna be an uphill battle. They might have to do some stuff outside of their comfort zone. Maybe try to play like really direct, try to play over the top. I don't know what you do against Barcelona. If I knew what to do against Barcelona, me and you would be on a coaching staff somewhere and we'd be cooking.
100%. I mean, Frankfurt, extremely decorated club on the women's side as well. Yep. 3-time UEFA Women's Cup winners, 2002, 2006, 2008. UEFA Champions League winners, 2015. So 4-time champions of Europe. I do not think that we can sleep on this Frankfurt side. And that's what I would be saying if they weren't playing Barcelona.
Right.
Because Barcelona looks utterly unbeatable. I'm a little intrigued as this one's taking place in Germany. And, Barcelona went straight into the group stage, by way of winning Liga F last year. So this will be their first high-stakes cross-border away match of the season. So who knows? Stranger things have happened. But again, I think they just look like an absolute juggernaut. You mentioned the 3 heavyweights of the tournament. There's an argument that they're right there at the top. The heavyweight. To even call them an all-star team, you almost have to elevate it up to the dream team level, with how well they're playing and just how loaded they are. This one's going down Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Try to catch this one if you can. The other Group A match, Benfica is hosting Rosengard. I mentioned on last week's pod that Benfica was maybe in the driver's seat for a second place in their group. I think I'm ready to walk that back a little. Frankfurt looked really impressive. Benfica doesn't look bad. They played with great spirit, great attitude. But I can't really be sure that what we saw was Benfica maybe being a year or two away, or if that was simply just a masterclass from that terrifying squad from Barcelona. If Benfica is going to make some noise in this group, 3 points at home against a winded Rosengard side is an absolute non-negotiable. They need a win here. This one also going down Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, same time as Frankfurt Barcelona.
I think it's a little bit of a bummer that those games are happening at the same time. But, like, let's all be honest with ourselves. Like, there's no disrespect for this match to be put on the small screen when you got Frankfurt Barcelona happening. But what I really want to be honest about, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving statistically has to be one of the least productive days on the work year calendar. If people are emailing you at 3 p.m. Eastern the day before Thanksgiving, it can probably wait until Monday. That's just my working tip for all working class people out there.
I co-sign that.
Let me throw out, you got my confidence up. I threw out the exacto 5-0 Barcelona score. Let me try it again. I think there is a world, and I agree with you that I think Frankfurt is good, but I also think it's hard to tell how good Benfica is because they had to go up against this flying death machine. I think there might be a world where Barcelona starts to pull away from Frankfurt, and it might be like 3-0 in like the 75th minute. And then if Benfica Rosengard is like close or like, you know, within one goal or their level, then maybe I'll switch. I'll put Benfica Rosengard onto the big screen. If Barcelona starts to blow out Frankfurt, which I think is, you know, super live, I think it just reinforces are they the juggernaut of the juggernauts in the tournament?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And I like the scoreboard watching angle. Usually when a team is that good and they're in blowout mode, I do have a propensity to switch over, but I know Barcelona is just so impressive and what they're able to do and where the goals come from. I just want to watch more of it. It's just really awesome.